fuck? It's like croutons in a soup.
Don't turn down any opportunity, whether it's a camp, a clinic, because you never know literally who's watching.
Make your own decision and stick with them and know they're the right decisions, right? And even if they aren't right, don't regret them.
He didn't know creatine existed.
So you got some creatine? He's like, oh yeah, lift heavyweight.
Shipped across the border.
I shipped across the border.
Shipped across the border, man.
Welcome back to Shipped Across the Border.
So last year, I rarely beat him in any shooting drill. And then at the beginning of the year, he was like, or a couple days ago when he just got back, we just started shooting. He's like, yo, you, by the way, you know you've never beaten me in a shooting drill ever, right? And I'm like, okay, first of all, that's just not true at all. But second of all, I've beaten you a handful of times, but let's just say, let's call it 3 or 4 times I've beaten you. And he's like, whatever. And then we did 3 or 4 shooting drills that day, and I beat him in all of them. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, yo, I tied my career high today, bro. And then, yeah, bro. So today we were shooting. He did beat.
For context, I feel like this is just be such a random start, but it's.
We started recording in the middle of a conversation. We're talking about Drew, the little guy, kind of balding. He can
Kind of a shooter, though.
Yeah, he can shoot the ball, though.
Loves Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he's coming back next game, which will be, this will be posted way after the game, so it don't matter. So we're not giving no sneak peek to the other team if they're somehow come across this. But yeah, shout out Drew. But yeah, so today we're shooting. He did beat me in the first game we did, but then we played some free throw thing and I beat him, and then we went around and we were counting, make 5 at each spot and see who shoots the least amount of shots in order to make 25. And he shot the ball well. He was 25 for 35. I missed 3 times. I was
I should have known that shit was gonna be fucked. You looked at it and you're like, you shot pretty well. A little fucking max roll.
No, it was. I mean, yeah, it was probably one of the. I've done that many times. Mm-hmm. That's one of the best rounds of that I've. I mean, 90.
What did he say?
Good shooting, bro. But we were both kind of yeah, that's fucked type of thing. But he don't want to give me no credit. He don't want to give me no credit. He don't want to.
Probably wouldn't either.
He don't want to give me no credit. So. Shout out Judo. It's awesome to have him back on the court. We haven't really been on the same team. We were on the same team a little bit the first day in practice. No, I'm talking about in practice, since he's been back. But I like playing with Drew. I feel like I get better quality looks when he's out there, and I feel like I always find him for a one more or whatever. I feel like a lot of the times when he hit big shots last year, I was out on the court. I feel like, I don't know if that's coincidence or I don't know, but I feel like, and in Steph's analytical report, we were definitely one of the higher duos on the team. Maybe we were 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th or something. He would have liked that. If he listens to this, he would like that.
Steph or Drew?
Both.
Okay.
Definitely both. So yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome back, Shipped Across the Border. My name's Max. I'm here with Chris. We don't got a guest today because we're just stockpiling episodes up for Thanksgiving break.
Thanksgiving break.
Or winter break. Winter break. I want to give Jack's dad a huge shout out. He made me. We were talking at this restaurant when we went out for. I'm selling the thing right here. We went for dinner with my family, his family, Chris, Drew, and we just went for dinner after the Amherst tournament. And he was wearing this fire ass Elms long sleeve with a hood on it, and I was like, "Yo, did you get that on the team store?" He was like, "Nah, you think you can get this shit on the team store? This shit's custom." And I said, "Yo, you got to make me one of those." He's like, "I got you." We were kind of joking around though, and then Jack's like, "Yo, pull up, bro. I got something for you." And he made me this long sleeve hoodie.
If you're listening, it's a green Elms hoodie with Max's number and
last name.
And last name.
Last name is missing a letter.
It's fine.
But I think it kind of makes it a little more authentic. It makes it a little more one of one. Even though it is probably one of one, it makes it a little more you know what I'm saying? The factory default type or factory what do you call it? You know when you those shoes or any product, sometimes when there's a little defect in it, you can sell it for 10 times its price.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what that's called, but
you sell that?
No, I'm just saying it makes it makes it even tougher.
More valuable.
Yeah. Also, my last name, I'm pretty sure it was either ROLNIC or ROLNIK at one point, and then my great grandparents changed it after the Holocaust. Actually, I think.
Purpose behind that?
I mean, I'm sure there was, but I can't speak on that. I don't want to spread false information. So yeah, I just wanted to give Jack's dad shout out, Mr. Lowe. Huge shout out for the long sleeve, and yeah, we can get into the absolute messery that
Danny Harry also been Mac quiet lately.
Yeah.
Just saying, Danny Harry's actually a ghost. I don't know what happened. I think Max hit a few threes, and then bro was just I don't know what to say anymore. So,
shout out Danny Harry. And yeah, so we're gonna just probably do what we usually do when it's just us. Chris, introduce.
Some philosophical topic, and Max hopefully adds at least 45 minutes worth of just ramble, and then we just call it, and then we just go our separate ways.
If you guys have philosophical topics you want us to talk about, also
Asking for these. I mean, the only one that anyone's responded to is the one on Instagram where I talk about free will. Some kid responded, to that, and I think he removed his comments.
but it was also like a bot. Like I had no post or no post, no following, no followers.
Why is a bot arguing about determinism?
I think it's someone that we know that probably had an opinion on what we wanted to say, but didn't want to like.
Stand on your opinion, bro.
Didn't want to like.
If you want to talk philosophy,
Yeah, you don't gotta make another account. How many phone numbers do you have, bro?
yeah.
All right, we can get into it.
Okay, I don't really have like a whole lot. I'm hoping that this kind of just like spurs into a direction because I've been doing so much shit trying to get homework and everything caught up before I leave for Canada.
It is exam season.
It is exam season, but you remember when we were talking about the myth of the eternal recurrence with like the Nietzschean thing about doing your life over and over and over again with the exact same thing, doing it over it? There's that conversation and the conversation we had, I don't even know when this was, when you asked me about, you asked me something along the lines of like, why did I keep playing basketball? Like, what didn't motivate me to keep playing basketball?
Like in DJ's episode?
It might have been, yeah. Both of those things are kind of like stuck in my mind, and then this morning they kind of like melded into something that I think might be hopefully articulate. Basically, I was talking to Chubbs this morning, and this was just like a throwaway conversation. He said he was talking about his high school career, and he was like,
Chubbs played on JDSS?
Yeah. He had a great last season.
Really? Senior year? He's younger than you.
Yeah, so it was after I left. You think he averaged like 18 games or something?
Is Sam your age or older?
You're younger.
Sam's also younger?
Yeah.
Wait, so they were fifth years when you graduated?
That would be the other way around. No, what?
His last year was also your last year if you were a fifth year.
I stayed an extra year, Sam didn't.
So you graduated at the same time?
Yeah.
And did...
Chubb stayed next year.
So, okay, so you're talking his fifth year.
Chubbs is fifth year. He averaged
Chubbs
18.
is...
But we were just throwaway conversation. He was talking about how...
I didn't know Chubbs was nice like that. Okay, shout out Chubbs.
He was talking about how it's funny that he scored almost all of his high school points from inside or outside the 3-point line, and then but his actual game is just getting inside mid ranges and layups. And
Wait,
he scored most of his points in high school outside of the 3-point line. I mean, he scored like mostly threes. Like that's where most of his points came from. But actual bucket getting in fives, runs, open runs, all that stuff, he was always guy who would get a mid range bucket or a layup. You would never see him shoot a three ever. So for whatever reason, just high school brought it out of him.
all right.
Anyways, he literally threw that out there, and we were just talking about bullshit. And then I started thinking about like high school basketball, and I just noticed like where my mind went, and it kind of like triggered three things at once. And so like I thought about, why is my mic so quiet? I started thinking about what you said about the myth of the eternal recurrence thing, where it's like, when you asked me, would I not want to experience newbie gains again, and would I not want to do all this stuff again? So that's not where my mind goes. When I thought about this in terms of basketball, where my mind went immediately was to the moments in basketball that I reminisce on the hardest. And
Playing with Sam and Chubbs?
No, not even close. It was the moments where my skills had been pushed to their absolute limit, and you're sort of walking on this fine line of like failing in front of a crowd, but you also step outside of that zone of like doing only what you're capable of doing. So like how I had sort of conceptualized it and never really articulated was that I saw myself as an artist when it came to basketball. And so like when I was playing in these games, every move and every bucket that I got was like the brush of a paintbrush on a canvas, or like the addition of a vocalization in a symphony. Like it was just adding to this bigger thing. And at the end of the day, that 30-point performance served as like an artistic expression of myself. That's what I started to realize, like, that kind of thing was the moments that I kept going back to, where it's like all of the training that I did in private in order to get that sort of the best possible piece of art out in front of a crowd. That was the thing.
So give me I understand what you're saying, but I need like a moment of like that you would look forward. We're talking looking forward, going back to.
Like if I could go back and
you would be excited about this part of the journey.
That's the thing that I started getting drawn to. It was like I could never really tell you what I liked about basketball until I watched my own mind gravitate towards these memories.
Okay, so explain to me like a memory, because I'm having trouble.
I'll explain. Basically,
like, is it the grind or is it the playing?
I'll try and tell you this story, and hopefully this illuminates what I'm talking about. the three biggest inspirations I had for basketball were Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, and Ethan Cudney. And, like the Cudney, the kid who
Like
went to Laurentian. The reason for that was that when I was watching Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry play, it like lit up this idea of that's what it looks like to have mastered your craft and be the most free-flowing and capable artist possible. Where he just has the ball on such a string and he's so capable of scoring from so many different ways and so many different creative expressions of who he is that he's not limited at all. The only thing that limits him is his own creative expression. That's sort of the peak. But it's not tangible because I never met Kyrie Irving or saw him in person. Okay. And so like when I decided to quit hockey and start playing basketball, the first tangible real life experience of seeing somebody who was capable of being this extremely creative basketball player was Cudney. And so I walked into the Friday night league that we were playing for the first time ever. I'd never been in front of live 5 of my basketball in my life. And I watched Cudney go up and down. He's this 6'1", incredibly naturally gifted kid. His dad played in college. Like he's just moving through kids. He's one of those kids that was just gifted with basketball at a young age. And that like lit up this thing in me where like, okay, I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, I want to get as close to that as humanly possible. And so that sort of, whether I was conscious of it or not, was sort of the thing that I was chasing. I don't know if it was Cudney necessarily or what he represented, but chasing him for the next however many years. And I remember playing him in fives many times, open runs in high school, all that stuff. And like, there might be some moments where I had a few buckets or whatever, but it was never like really a fair match. But the memories that really stuck out when I started thinking about this kind of stuff was the moments where all of the grind had paid off to the point where now it was a fair match. Like we were playing fives and it was like, okay, Chris and Cudney, you're getting split immediately. So like chasing that maximal creative expression to the point where now it's like, oh, we're on the same level. And he was naturally gifted and I wasn't. Mine's just a representation of how hard I was willing to work to create the best possible piece of art. That was the point. Those points where it's like, okay, I did all of this stuff and now I can tell that the thing that I thought was so beyond my capabilities is right here.
I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna push you a little bit further. I need like a moment. Like when you, hypothetically, let's just say you go back and you experience everything again and you have consciousness. So you're kind of watching it in 3D. What's a moment where you'd be like, I can't wait to get to that point? Like a moment. Like I'll give you an example. So we went like very recently. Like we went to go and play St. Joe's Brooklyn, down in Brooklyn. And last year we didn't get a road win until the last one of the last regular games of the season. We went on the road, tons of adversity. Aiden Goff, our best player, went down, and we held it and we won that game. And we're playing. I was like 1 for 5. Didn't shoot the ball great. I did hit a pretty important 3 near the end of the game to be able to help kind of lift my team up, which was a good feeling. But I wasn't necessarily like happy with how I played. And I watched the film after, and I watched the film with Coach too, and I didn't like play great. I had some moments where it's like, why was I not working as hard or moving with enough urgency or whatever? And I was a little bit frustrated. But after the game, we're in New York, so we're playing like New York drill. We're playing like Kanye, like in New York, you know what I'm talking about? And then we're on the bus and we're a 3-hour drive and it's freezing and we're just like all singing and doing. JC brings a big ass speaker and like microphone and we're doing karaoke in the back of the bus. And I'm sitting next to Adam because I went back there to like be a part of what we were doing in the celebration of winning.
Sure.
And I look at him like, yo, I'm not even going to remember who we played or anything about today other than this right now. This moment of singing Call Me Maybe and all these classic songs with my teammates after winning a game on the road. Like that's a moment where I'm going to I'll remember that for a long time.
Okay.
And I'm going to, when I think about my basketball career, like moments like that are going to be the ones that I would reflect on the most. So I want you to give me a moment of like, it was.
I can give you multiple. I don't know how granular you want me to get, but like I can think of.
I don't need to know the temperature of the day. I just want to know.
I mean, when I say granular, I mean like, do you need specific moment in game? I hit a shot over Cudney, or can I go broader than that? Entire games, entire performances, entire
game. You can go games and performances.
Okay, so there's many, but the thing that I think me and a few people from the Aiton Boys crew that play basketball are very similar in this aspect. The thing that gives me a lot of positive feedback, for lack of a better word, is being the underdog and still pulling out that victory that nobody thinks you're capable of getting.
Okay.
And the Aiton Boys have a ex-college basketball player, Willie, who played a little bit in high school and he's pretty good, but like he's a high school basketball player who's never capable of making shots in game. Chubbs, who had a decent high school career, and then this kid named Hunter, who plays defense with his arms out like this.
And Cudney, or we're not
no.
Okay.
And Hunter, who his only job is he's like Dennis Rodman. He's incredible at rebounding for whatever reason. He's 5'10" and white, but he will guarantee to give you a 5 and he'll dive out of bounds and he's just ready to go.
Okay.
Those 4 guys, we got matched up with Cudney.
This is JDSS's team, or this is
just out and open runs.
Okay.
But like there was a time where we ran 8 and boys verse, and it was me and these ragtag group of guys, and then it's
the Hillbillies.
It's Cudney, played college basketball. This kid named Caleb Zhang also was about to play college basketball, decided instead to go a different route, but had the ability to play college basketball. This kid named Keaton Rourke, whose dad ran WDCS, which was like our rival school basically, and they used to just pound us. They pummeled us. Like,
okay. Can you play on their team?
Yeah, and his dad ran the team, and he also gave him opportunities to go play AAU basketball, all this stuff. Okay. Like, he's a good basketball player. He also might have been able to play in college. And then their center, who was like this big fat white kid, but he's kind of irrelevant. Clearly outnumbered, clearly outmatched, should not stand a chance. Mm-hmm. But the thing, I'm going to go back to this because it sort of ties back to the Cudney thing as well. The thing that gave me so much positive emotion when I thought about these memories is the fact that we had to stretch our capabilities to the point where you're walking this fine line to the maximal amount of your own ability. So it's like we had to play a perfect game. And so like me and Chubbs I'm hitting Chubbs on the break. It's just perfect chemistry. Hunter gets a rebound, kicks it to me. I kick it to Willie. He makes a 3.
Like they shouldn't be here, but they are type thing.
And not only are they there, we're up 3-0. Like we're killing them. And it's just based on grit and the fact that we're just walking this fine line of like completely failing and doing something completely outside of our realm and getting way outside of our own comfort zone. And so like that thing where you're forced to push your own capabilities to the maximal possible level, combined with the fact that I hadn't really conceptualized basketball as a form of creative expression
until after you start playing.
Yeah. And so those two things where you get to the point where it's the best possible piece of art combined with my own maximum stretched out abilities to make the art are the memory. Those two things intertwined are the best memories I have with basketball. So there's many times where like we were playing Cudney, or we're playing a team, or I'm playing somebody personally where it's like I shouldn't be here, but I'm pushing myself to the maximum limit that I'm capable of doing, and I'm killing it, or even competing. There's another time I was playing Justin. I think I've told you about this kid. He played for Brad's team, Scarborough, and he ended up playing for Orangeville Prep. He's like a 45-inch vertical, 6'4" black dude. He's unbelievable. I think he's playing for University of British Columbia right now. Okay. And we were playing open runs after. I think we're doing 3s. It was like me, Brad, and some 12-year-old, and then like
classic. That's always how it is.
And then there's
always how it is.
And then there's another coach to match with Brad. I'm against Justin, and then you have another 12-year-old. Okay. So it's like basically it's me versus Justin at this point. And so Brad's just throwing me the ball, and we're just going back and forth. And like I was visibly competing, and I think we might even won that game with this dude who, again, is just way more naturally gifted than me. But the only reason that I was there was the fact that, for whatever reason, I was enthralled by the idea of using basketball as a form of creative expression.
I understand what you're saying. I got 2, I think, follow-up questions, and they might be confusing.
It's probably this whole thing. Literally, I haven't. It's such a raw conceptualization that I haven't had time to like whittle it down because we've been doing all this shit. But I think this could have been a better segment if I had time to like really sift through.
We're gonna roll with it.
We don't have time for that. So
the first thing you said when you described this, which is why I wanted a moment, because now I understand what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But before you said. Like
it's more of an archetype.
But you said
moments.
more of like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But you said more like on the brink of embarrassment.
Yes, because it has to be that way.
So, what does that mean? Like, the brink of embarrassment meaning like there are stakes?
The way I would try to explain it, and the way that I've had it explained to me, is all artistic pursuits have this balance of chaos and order.
Okay.
So this is hard to describe. The chaos from basketball comes from the things you don't have control over, which is the defender, the crowd, the fact that things cannot go your way, all of that external chaos that can overwhelm you and crush you, metaphorically. Okay. And then there's order, which is the things you know how to do. Okay. So it's like if I'm really capable of like just dribbling in the same spot or making catch and shoot threes, whatever my order is. The best moments are when you're walking that edge where it's just outside of what you know you're capable of doing, but not so far into chaos that you get overwhelmed. And so when you say it's that form of embarrassment, it's because
outside of your comfort
all
zone.
artistic pursuits require you, the best artistic pursuits require you to step on that thin line of chaos and order and balance that.
Like you're saying, you have to stretch your ability to the maximum in order to be able to compete so far that like if you take another step, you're gonna fall flat on your face and it's gonna be embarrassing. So you're stretching that much that like if there's like any more that you could like you'd rip.
If you think about it like this, the best moments you see in sports, the things that make you hold your breath, are quite literally because you can tell that person is stretching themselves.
Like shooting a game winner.
You can tell they're stretching it to just that point, and they could fall on their face, and it could be embarrassing, and they could fail, and they could be overwhelmed by chaos. But then when they pull it off, you get that like, oh my, that's what makes those moments so special, is because they're stretching it to that maximum, that thin line. And so when I'm able to mimic that, and where I was like, I know I'm only capable of this, but then I can see myself. It's almost like you're not really doing it consciously. Like when you make a game winner, or you hit like 4 threes in a game, especially if it's like a shot that you don't really practice, or it's something that you didn't know you were capable of doing. It's like you're watching yourself do it back in third person, where it's like you get hit in the corner, you're off balance, it goes up, and you know that this is not a shot you work on at all, and then it drills, and you're like, I didn't know I was capable of that. You walk that fine line to where you didn't know that you were capable of this, and then it still works out for you. That's
so
the moment that
those
moments.
So the moment that I can think about is when I got subbed in versus Mitchell, and it's like and second half, and I'm like sitting for 36 minutes or whatever it is, and then I hit those 2 threes. Both of them I thought I was gonna miss. Both of them were like off balance. It's like not even facing the rim, squaring up in the air in the biggest moment of my career at home in the most important game the school's played in the last 15 years, and like that's probably the best. That's probably like potentially the best basketball moment I have, singular moment.
And again, because it's because you were walking that line of you could literally airball that shot many times in a row if you got hit with it over and over and over again, because it's literally pushing you to your maximum capability.
I understand what you're saying. So now I'm gonna like this is actually I'm about to challenge you.
Okay.
I don't know if you've actually gone this deep into thinking about it.
This is also what happens with podcasts all the time. I get hit with a thought and I try and bury it down, and then if I don't work on it and sit with it and sort of
this is about to be
think about it before the podcast happens, it can just get lost.
Can I ask?
Yeah. We're here. I mean, we're here. Like,
so I'm curious why you kind of fell out of love with basketball at Madai when technically, going by what you're saying, every single day was an opportunity for you to. So let me think about my thought process first before you answer. I think that every day was an opportunity for you to stretch yourself to your maximum capability because, like, in the most respectful way possible, at some points it was very clear
that I wasn't supposed to be there.
Not that you weren't supposed to be there, but in order for you to have anything impactful, you would have to be playing at your absolute best.
I can explain to you why it wasn't tenable. When you talk about, again, you have that order, you stretch it just outside of what you're capable of doing, but not so far that it consumes you.
Do you think it's too far?
It was consuming you. The chaos that happened with Madai, because here's the thing. I was able to deal with a lot of chaos when it came to basketball, because you're the point guard. You have to be able to deal with chaos. I can deal with the defender hounding me. I can deal with the defense maneuvering and doing stuff behind the actual defender that's ahead of me. I can deal with the crowd for the most part, as long as I'm like in an environment where the defender's not 6'5".
I have to.
That's going to get cut. But I can deal with that.
Okay.
The part that I could not deal with was on top of all of that pressure, a psychopathic coach derailing my own self-worth. That's where that just like, because again, didn't start playing basketball till I was 13. Was starting to figure out how to juggle that chaos and order thing pretty late. And so like I had lifted as much weight as I possibly could in that aspect all the way up until that point. And then it was just like, boop, just the straw on the camel's back. And but it wasn't just a straw. It was also an avalanche. So it was there was just no way. Sink or swim, drown.
It was way.
That's what it was.
So it was too far into
way too far into the abyss. The chaos consumed me.
That makes sense. I was curious. Okay. That makes sense.
I don't know. It's almost like you're for whatever reason, I'm trying to tie it back to like being high openness, because I'm trying to make this sort of framework of understanding in my mind. But I have to assume that my biology or something recognized within the game of basketball that sort of dynamic of like the best possible outcome for this is that you get to a point where you can juggle the chaos and order in such a way that it lights up the creative part of your brain. And that just it was like a wild guess because I think basketball, for whatever reason, especially for point guards or people that like to dribble a lot, it has that really weird balance of like the ball is almost an extension of your body because it's connected to you for the whole entirety of the possession, which doesn't happen in almost any other sport. Like tennis, the ball is touching your racket for a split second. Golf, same thing. The football, even but the plays happen so fast. Hockey might be the only one where I can think that you do have control over the puck for a long time, but the shifts happen so.
Be like a quarterback would be.
That would be the same. That's also something else where I could see. Yeah, it's quarterback as well. But the thing about a point guard in basketball is that when I think back on the best moments too, this sort of lights up that part of my brain. I think yours happen in moments because you're a shooter and it's just like this, but mine happen in large swaths of performances because when the ball's in your hand for so long, the best performances I've ever had in basketball is where like I came down, someone sent me a screen, I came off of it, I saw it, and I threw the pass and he got a layup. Next time I come down, same thing happens, except this time I hit a punch step back and I make the three. And just like this repetition over and over and over again of like consistently putting that brush on the canvas and just finally you look back at the end of it and you're like, I have 30, 10, and 5. And it's like that's the painting. It's like, but the whole I didn't actually care about what the painting was going to look like as it was happening. Like I don't really care about the 30 and 10. It's the moves and the moments and the scoring and all that stuff that built on top of it, the layers of paint that made it so enjoyable. And so like the learning how to paint was the thing that kept me in it.
I understand. So what's do you have a game example?
Yeah. The tournament we just played with Salmon.
I didn't even know. You didn't even tell me how that tournament. I know you got your ass whooped, but
ass whooped was probably a longer
that's
stretch.
How you made it seem.
Well, we lost all of the games, but like it was by 2.
I didn't know you guys were 0.
First game got waxed because we came out there thinking we were going to be able to beat these guys. They had a Waterloo transfer. Dude was like 6'9", throwing backdoor passes. He was disgusting. And we also just came out flat-footed, and there was no way. I think if we ran that game maybe 100 times, we might win 10. They just had way more size, and they were just better than us, and they also came out way more prepared. Second game, Blue Steel.
Who?
The infamous team that beat us the first year with the little fat point guard that came out and strapped it a few times in the Overseas Pro, same team. They've had the exact same team for how many years. We played an unbelievable game because like just this seems to keep happening year after year after year where we just get beat down by these guys. But we actually were in it this time. Not only were we in it, we were up 10 with 4 minutes to go. And the reason we were up 10 with 4 minutes to go was because I came down and me and this little point guard were kind of having like a little back and forth. But it was
a white guy.
Yeah. But we were
playing Niagara College. I know
we were having a friendly back and forth. Like first year he came out there, I was saying some pretty disrespectful things. Somehow he just forgot about that. Second year, kind of got acquainted. Now third year, he knows me, I know him. Back and forth, a little thing. And you talk about like stretching your capabilities. The fact that I'm retired and I didn't really train that well before this thing. I had 0 points the first game, or maybe I had 3 points. I didn't play well at all. I was basically just a defensive body. Like I played like shit. And
who was leading guys, Sam?
Sam, like 25 the first game, but we still lost. And I told Sam after this, I was like, yo, depending on how this next game goes, I might not be able to come back because it was so painful to go out there and just feel like you didn't belong. Like I had to watch an old version of myself just wither in my eyes because I was playing so bad. I came out there first possession, threw a floater up, it hit the opposite side of the backboard and went out of bounds. Tough. It was so bad. Tough. Shook it off. Came out first possession against the Blue Steel guys. They switched an old dude onto me. I'm like, yo, if this doesn't go well, I'm calling it. I ripped baseline, snatched, hit his jumper over his head, and I was like, okay, we might be able to find a rhythm here. That sort of settled it in for the rest of the entire game. And I had 12 points at half, or I had 10 points at half, and we came out, and we were sort of struggling going back and forth. There was like the Warriors Cavs thing where like no one had scored for a couple of minutes. And then I came down, and I got a pass from Brent on the wing and hit a 3. And then I was like, okay, there's some rhythm following here. I came down, hit another 3. And then I came down and I was sort of like on a hot hand thing. And the bald dude from Naga was guarding me. And I hit him with an in and out cross. And then as I did the slowest step back of my life because I had so much time. And I hit the step back and I let it fly. And I had enough time as it left my hands before it got to the net that I could throw my hands up like Steph Curry and run backwards before it hit the bottom of the net. And it fucking drilled. The crowd went electric. That whole moment just sent shivers up my spine because it felt like I was watching myself in third person after like just thousands of reps of that. The day before we were in the YMCA, I was just messing around with that move. I've been doing the move since I was like 10 years old. And like just that repetition, I watched all 10 years of basketball into one moment, just let it fly and I drilled it. That thing, and I was to put us up 8 or 9 at that point. That moment where I was like, I thought I was going to quit basketball, and all of this stuff was sort of like meddling under the surface.
Embarrassment aspect.
All that stuff. And then just like to come out the next game and push it to the max to where it's like step back over this kid, let it fly, and then just throw the hands up and just feel like you're in that flow state and everything's going your way. Those are the moments.
All right, I understand. Do you have any like organized moments, like from high school or AU, where you experienced that you can remember?
There was none at Madai. I feel like that's pretty obvious.
You had some good moments at Madai.
Yeah, but they weren't. I mean, like stretching the capability, yes. But I mean, there was a moment that when we were in that drill where it was 5-on-4 and they had to scramble to try and get a stop, and I beat Mac off the dribble like 4 times in a row. That one was pretty memorable. But high school or AAU was kind of a beatdown for the most part. I got some film, but I really didn't play that well, which is why playing these tournaments now has been so rewarding, because finally getting to see myself play well on 5-on-5 basketball against a, for lack of a better term, worthy opponent is just finally. But there's maybe 2 moments. There's at least one from high school where the last game of the season, I had 20 points against this other kid who ended up going overseas after that year was over. Did I tell you about Tommy? Yeah, I'm not going to go to that story. That's a non-PG story. But basically,
someone from 8 in Ontario went overseas to play basketball.
So,
like
Soggy,
professional?
Yeah,
or like a school thing like Tajay's doing.
No, he's playing professionally. His older brother also played professionally.
But just out of high school.
That I don't know. I think he might have had a connection because of his brother, and so he might have had a little nepotism or whatever that is when you have an older brother that sort of lets you in the door. And then he also went from 6'5", sort of gangly, not really athletic, to East Bang in the span of a summer.
Tommy.
No, Tommy's little brother.
Tommy's little brother. Okay.
That's the other kid. Also, he played in the tournament that one year, and he gave us work. Okay. But we ended up beating him.
Oh, the overseas guys. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
But English. Yeah, like I berated Tommy, his older brother, and that's why he had to get his get back on me, because he came in the gym and like he saw me and he was like, "Oh, you said some crazy stuff to my brother when he was playing in high school," and I was like, "Well," but that was the moment where me and him were going back and forth, and I gave him 20 and he gave me like 25, and we went back and forth, and it was like that finally cracked. Whereas in front of a pretty packed house in the playoffs against a kid who wanted to see me die, and who said terrible things, bad things about this guy's older brother that happened during a basketball game. Me and Sam Scott's older brother, Carter, were in the stands, and they were playing at JD against, I think it was the senior team, and Carter was
this is while you were young?
Yeah, and we were watching this game, and I said some terrible things to him because he had some stuff in his Instagram bio. But yeah, terrible things. And then the other moment during AAU.
And his younger brother, when you were a senior, trying to get his get back. Okay.
Then AAU, last game of the season, doesn't mean anything. It's basically an exhibition. I actually managed to get Adam, my AAU coach, to let Sam play on the team with us for one game because we didn't have enough guys. They just didn't want to be there because the exhibition didn't mean anything. Showed up. Literally think I averaged like 2 points, maybe 3 points per game during the whole season. Like just could not get it going. And we ended up playing this team where they had Nigel Hilton and they had this super tall white kid from Sweden who was like 7 feet tall.
Blonde kid?
Yeah.
All for one?
Yeah. Dude, gigantic team.
Was Xavier Lee on that team?
Not that year.
Asian guy?
Not that year. But they had an unbelievable team.
Alex Seminole used to work out with that guy.
And I remember Nigel Hilton switched on to me on the first 3 possessions of the game. And I came out, hit a side step 3, banged it in his mouth.
Shout out Nigel. Nigel actually might watch it.
Came out, hit him with an in-and-out cross, sort of like bumped his inside hip, and then like, dude, I had perfected this move of being a little white kid and just being unexpected, where you like look at the baseline and look like you're about to pass it, and then just throw an inside hand layup up, hit him with that, and then his buddy switched on to me, this taller, gangly black dude who was terrible, by the way, but just was gigantic and athletic. He caught it, I ripped baseline, hit a midi, they called the timeout. We started off the game like 8-0, and it was all my points. And so like, that little spurt that pushed it to that limit, that was another.
Was Jacob Roden playing in that game?
No. He didn't care. It was an exhibition. He literally didn't show up.
Jacob Roden told me that you had like a really good game at one point. He's like, Chris had this crazy game. Like, I don't know if maybe it was a different game.
I think it was maybe tryouts. Is the only time I think he saw me play good. And even though Brad didn't play good, I promise you, another moment that you want to talk about, that tryout where I had just left Ayton for the first time and had no idea who anybody was and was just playing with these kids who I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be here. Also, grassroots try Elijah Fisher. Like
that's a big one for you.
All of these things that sort of just push the boundary where it's like kid who's only known for defense, the point guard of the grassroots elite team who's playing with Elijah Fisher who could have gone to the league.
We get it, bro. You dropped him, man. You said this quite.
But that's
joking,
not
but
supposed to happen. Like that's not. He was in his eyes. It was like a tiger saw a gazelle. He was like, I'm gonna rip this kid, throw a lob to Elijah, and they're gonna call a timeout, and this kid's never gonna see the floor again. And then just that moment.
When you said that, like the grassroots tryout, then like that made sense to me about what like that's I think the perfect example of kind of what you're saying before.
Yeah.
So I knew at some point you're gonna bring it up because I feel like that story.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it when this was happening, but those are the memories that come.
Nigel Hilton might watch this, bro. So Nigel, bro, if you watch this,
Shut
man,
up, bro. I mean, hey,
Chris bumped you into oblivion. So
bumped me into oblivion. More like snuck one by a guy who was supposed to toss my shit out of bounds because I was a tiny white kid. But also, they ended up beating us by 30, and he probably had 35.
That's just nice, bro.
But yeah,
that's funny as fuck. I might send this to him. I know Nigel.
Legit,
Nigel
like,
plays
legit.
Yeah, I mean like
because he plays for U of T.
Yeah,
makes sense.
So I mean like type of thing where like I would like his story, like I would respond to his story, but like we wouldn't like hang out in person. Mm-hmm. In a group, like we wouldn't like go for lunch type thing.
I would hope not.
But like I would dap him, or like I've talked to him. Like he was at the runs when. Actually, this was a moment that I was thinking about when you were talking in terms of like stretching your capability, whatever. So this summer I was playing runs. It was just me. It was Lucas Schmidt, so Gyro Tufts, and all the U of T guys. Because Ryan like rented out the Elite Camps gym during like maybe it was like not Labor Day, whatever, one of these like those long weekends in the summer. And so there's like no programs or whatever. And I mean, yeah, like U of T is a super high level thing, a lot of size, a lot of athleticism. And it was me and Lucas. Obviously, is like had Division I offers coming out of high school. Like he was killing. Like he's a great player. And yeah, like I was hooping. I was like I hit some tough ass shots, like some shit that like I hit the pump fake side step in the corner. You know what I'm talking about? Some type of
that was out of bounds in Trinity.
Yeah, but like, type of thing that I was working on for a long ass time, and like I never really was able to do. That was like honestly maybe the only actual time I've done that in a game, where it's like you read the defender, you know he's gonna jump at you, you pump fake. And then you laterally separate into space, hit a shot off balance, and like it's a difficult thing to do. And so I hit that, and I hit a bunch of other like shots off the dribble, tough deep threes, and like I was like, yo, like I'm one of the best players in this gym right now, and like if you were to ask anybody going into this, like they would not expect that. And, like that's a dope ass feeling. So I relate to that. I do relate to that.
Yeah.
What was the other thing you said you had?
I said I had another thing.
I think.
I don't think I have another thing, bro. That's all I really had going into this. Was that I mean, I could try and tie it.
No, you said there's 3 things
that I was thinking about before this?
Or 3 either 3 things you're thinking about before this or like 3 pillars of what you call it. And one of them was this like thing of like
I texted you this or said this over the
said
episode?
this in the podcast. Of like stretching your capabilities, like one side's or chaos and order. That was one of them. You said there was like, or maybe you were, I don't know. Maybe you covered all 3 of those in that one thing. I don't really remember, to be honest.
Wide gap session, but I could try and tie this back to Nietzsche, but it might miss hard left. Holy airball, it might because I literally just learned about this and it's such a finicky topic.
Okay. I have something coherent if you want to. I feel like we talk about Nietzsche. We could talk about something else and save the Nietzsche thing. Do you have any pursuits now that
mirror this?
Or what are potential pursuits that
you
mirror
could say
this?
all artistic pursuits mirror this to some degree because
that's why you liked Fortnite, eh?
Because it pushed my capabilities.
And it was just like kind of like artistic expression.
I think it lacks the there's not enough chaos. Because if you get killed in Fortnite, yeah, it sucks and I want to throw my monitor out the window, but it doesn't ricochet as hard, if that makes sense. So the wins don't feel as good and the losses don't feel as bad. Because it's also a video game and it's not real.
Yeah.
If I was playing Fortnite for money or again in front of a crowd or like Bluga, probably.
Okay.
The things that mimic this, you could say weightlifting to some degree.
How?
Chaos is the bar. PRs are the victories.
inside of your order sphere circle is the weight you know you can lift. Outside of that is the weight you don't know if you can lift. PRing is a literal representation of you stretching your capabilities to the maximal amount. And
But I
doing
feel
it
like you don't
perfectly.
lift to PR
That's all I
anymore.
do. That's all I do.
Oh.
I'm trying to PR every time I go in. Not every time, but I strategically plan the best days that I have during the week that revolve around lifting are PR days. Where I go in there, my recovery is 99. My sleep was dialed. I have a bag of Jolly Rancher gummies ready to rock, and you just slam all that. You go in there and you're like, yo, I think I can add 2.5 pounds today, or 5 pounds today, or a rep today, and you just hammer it. And you're like, yes, but it's also not as good of a victory because it is, again, there's no embarrassment factor, or just again not enough chaos.
I didn't know that you were trying. I thought you were doing like. I mean, I feel like the last time I seen, because you don't really lift here anymore.
Not at all. I haven't lifted here in a year and a half.
Yeah, so last time I feel like I seen you lift was like you were doing hella eccentric shit and you were doing like pauses and.
Yeah, I learned that was probably pretty stupid.
And I know then you were doing some different shit when you were lifting with Ben, where you're doing like twice a week, full body. But I didn't know you were doing like your PR, you're doing like a 1 rep max or like a 3 rep max or like a 5 rep max.
No, PRing in the sense that, so I go in there, hypothetically, I'll tell you what I did today. I went in and I start with chest press, and I know I can do 2 plates.
Chest press meaning flat dumbbell bench or sitting straight up?
Like plate loaded chest press.
Okay, but you're sitting straight
Yes.
up. Okay.
And I knew that I could do 2 plates, 2 10s, and a 5, but I was like, I'm going to try and add 2.5 pounds. And so same 6 reps. Go in there, add 2.5 pounds, try and get that 6 rep. If I got 6 reps, that's pushing towards muscle growth.
I understand.
All lifts function the same thing. Can I add 2.5 pounds? Can I add a rep?
Sometimes you're trying to do 7 reps as opposed to 6.
Hypothetically, yes. But if I went above 6 reps, I'd probably up the weight to the point where I'm back down doing 4 reps.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's why when you say PR, I automatically think like 1 rep max.
Yeah. But
so I understand.
Pursuits that mimic this, I think sales could have been.
Yeah.
It just was too much chaos. There was just too much uncontrollable stuff. Phone sales, maybe. I am looking for something.
I think sales is a good one.
I think the podcast could also be that thing.
What's the embarrassment factor?
It's not necessarily okay because
what's the chaos?
Embarrassment is one form of chaos. I should.
What is the chaos?
The chaos is saying something and you going, huh? That's the ability to round together points that I think are coherent, make one logical point, and have it land. That's me stepping outside of, especially when I'm starting to talk about things like that Nietzsche and these really high level philosophers begin to talk about. If I can distill that down and make it make sense to you, that's taking the chaos, which are these concepts, and distilling it down into order for Max Rolnick to chew on. And if it makes sense, then I succeeded.
But what's the chaos? I mean, full transparency. I'd probably call you the. No, we're gonna delete that. We're gonna take that out. I was gonna say the R word, or idiot schmelf, or something along those lines. At least 3 to 5 times a day.
What does that have to do with?
So you saying something doesn't make sense to me. Me calling you a moron is not big enough chaos because
That's the point. Is that I'm saying that chaos doesn't have to be proportional to the basketball, but it can still be chaos, just smaller chaos.
So you're saying you'd be more like disappointed in yourself and your ability to cohesively explain something if I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You say, what's the chaos? They're watching this. And so if I just bramble and you're like, yo, what are you talking about? That makes hypothetically, if I brought this up at the beginning and you were like, I don't know what you mean by chaos, I don't know what you mean by order, and we ended up on this sidetrack, I would be mildly embarrassed to the point because 1, I know people are going to see this and I'm going to post it regardless. But 2, it would fracture not only the image I have of myself, but that they have of myself, or that I have that they have of myself, which is of an articulate, intelligent human being. And so that's the chaos because there's pain involved, where my image of myself is now being fractured because I'm not actually as articulate as I thought I was.
I understand. So it's not necessarily about like me thinking you're an idiot. It's more of you thinking that I think that you're an idiot,
and that fractures how I think about myself.
I understand, kind of.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of things that could mimic it, and stand-up comedy,
like physical art,
stand-up comedy.
Like not necessarily physical art, but conventional art, like things that you think about in
performative art,
things that you think about in the same sentence as art,
because there has to be a crowd for that chaos to feel real now, because I've felt what it feels like to push your artistic limits in front of a crowd and fail and also hit. And so, like, painting a painting is in a basement is probably not going to fill that hole.
If you're going to sell it and no one buys it,
it's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt as much as failing in front of a crowd because it's so immediate.
It might if your livelihood depends on that.
Do you think that if you were creating something that's never going to be displayed publicly, or sorry, if you were creating something but during the creation you're not displaying it publicly,
yes,
you could feel that same level of excitement and or frustration and or pain as basketball has given you?
You did.
Could you?
Yes, and I'll explain why. Like, so you did. You're grinding by yourself, chasing the image of what you think Cudney represents, and then you have a moment that is memorable where you were on the same playing field and were competing and punching higher than your weight class. But so it's the same thing as you're the same way as like you're in the driveway, you're at the park, or you're in the basement, dribbling, shooting, working out with Sam, whatever it is. It's the same thing if you're painting by yourself, and then the moment of where you're going head to head with Cudney would be the painting is on auction or painting is now live.
That's the result. The actual.
No, the painting going live is, or you publish a book, or you do something like that.
It would have to be,
and then no one buys it.
It would have to be you painting the painting live, because at least the way that I've conceptualized it is that as I'm playing in the game, it's like I'm making a painting, and so like people are watching me paint with the basketball, and I get the ball stolen from me. It's like I drop the brush, and then with that immediate feedback as you're painting, it's not like I had a good game. Here, watch it. That's out of my hands. With the painting, it's literally I already did the thing. Have it.
Yes, but also you were saying how
I'm doing
your
the
best
thing.
moments was the
as I'm doing the thing though.
But a part
painting
of
the painting, it's already done.
A part of it was also the reason why it felt so good was because you knew that Cudney is way more naturally talented than you. You knew that whatever this guy, whatever with Brad, I don't remember he said his name.
Justin
was way more talented than you, but you were there because of hard work and grit. It's the same thing of your painting. You're spending a week, a month, 6 months crafting something. It's the same way as you were crafting in your ability, whether it's ball handling, shooting, whatever it is. And then now there's a moment where you can display it for, I guess, public feedback. And depending on how the public feedback responds, so in basketball, it would be you're playing well in front of people, crowd going, whatever, other guy hanging his head after you get a tough bucket, you talking shit, them clapping back and like that back and forth. Or in the painting, it would be somebody buying your painting, validating you that they are willing to put X amount of money. They think that what you made is X valuable. It's different because it's more like this, and then this, or like it's more of like an instant moment.
Doing versus done.
Yeah, but it's similar because of the underground, not underground, but like, you know what I'm saying, like behind the scenes effort accumulating in a moment.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I think you definitely could receive something
all
similar.
this to say, I'm definitely not going to paint a painting. I'm terrible at
But
painting.
what are other things that are artistic expressions that you would be interested in that also have these within this playground and within this environment of chaos and order and
the thing I always come back
flow.
to? The thing I always come back to is words. Like I'm obsessed with words and language and articulation and philosophy and that kind of shit.
Okay.
It has to be that. It has to be verbal. It has to be linguistic, or it's just not going to be tangible at this point. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't say it's not going to be tangible because basketball wasn't necessarily inherently linguistic. But at this point, I think I've recognized that for whatever reason, I'm just naturally drawn to linguistic pursuits. Hence the fact that we're talking on a podcast right now, and so it's going to have to be in that realm probably.
Okay.
And I've thought, bro, doing stand-up comedy would be so tough. And tough in the sense of like getting booed or getting no laughs would suck.
That would actually probably like
that.
Yeah, I should just kill myself.
I think that might
thing.
be worse than all of Madai. I think.
Oh yeah.
A week of stand-up comedy where nobody laughs and or you get booed is probably worse than Madai.
Like I just am a complete failure as a human being.
and also
100%. That's brutal.
Madai, if we're being super honest, I mean technically you could leave during stand-up comedy, but holy shit, that's gonna sit with you. That is going to sit with you for such a long time. And then the ability to go back up and do it again with the same material,
Yeah, that would be. But you so. But you talk about being consumed by the chaos.
That's the chaos.
You like, or even sales, like the chaos consumed, like sales as a linguistic expression of something, trying to get someone to do something.
That's not true. Okay, well, I shouldn't say it's not true. Sales felt coercive at the end of the day.
So it didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel creative.
No.
Okay.
Because despite the fact that that also might have been why the chaos was unbearable. Because I think if your underlying intentions aren't true, the chaos will consume you regardless of what you're doing. Yeah, unless it's super within your order circle. So if
you were selling creatine or like protein powder, and you use this protein powder,
and I was convinced that I was actually selling something that was worth buying, I think it would probably have been a different outcome. And so the intentions do matter.
Shout out pest control, man.
But
okay,
the idea of stand-up comedy, dude. I have journal entries from 2019, I think, of stand-up comedy material that I was like, because I was dabbling in that realm. Because by the way, I think stand-up comedy is an incredible art form.
I agree.
And so primal in the aspect of just getting people to sit in a room, especially now that phones are so widespread and we're so used to just doing this. The ability to turn your phone off for an hour and a half and just listen to some dude give you his thoughts on the world in a comedic manner in a dark alley room is sick.
What are so you know about Nancy's talent show, right?
Oh my God, I'm not doing it.
What are the odds?
I'm not doing it.
That too big of chaos?
I would rather die than do that, bro. By the way, when I was in high school, I don't know if you know this story. Ronan, Sam's oldest brother, who's like 20-something, we had a talent show in JD, and me and Ron sang a rap song in front of the entire high school when I was in grade 10. Mm-hmm. And I didn't sleep the night before that. I was shaking. We went up there and I had my piece of paper and I said the thing and I got off and I forgot. That moment is PTSD blocked in my brain. I don't remember what happened.
Was it good or bad? Or you don't even know?
It was not great, I don't think. There's videos of me standing up there with that sheet of paper and my old yellow gong show hat just reading off of it, shitting myself. But like,
there's no way that you would do it.
It would be so tough, bro.
That's so much chaos.
Oh my God, is that?
But talk about
landing
like,
it.
Talk about.
Would be insane.
You be the man for the next 3 weeks or however long is left of your college career. But that would be insane.
I don't know if you feel this either, but I also feel that during presentations. That one presentation that I gave in my sales class, where I had practiced it the night before and the night before and the night before, and just nailed it. 6 minutes or 7 minutes of however long it was, and afterwards, she said that was probably one of the better presentations she's ever seen in her career. And like Ryan Ziegler and the baseball guys were like, "Yo, I don't know why you're ever scared to present. That was fucking phenomenal." That was.
But that also goes to the cohesion of language that you're talking about.
It's always language. It always seems to come back to language.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like most of the time, for me personally, and I've been a minority of this, but like that's a lot of. That's a lot of. That's a lot of.
I keep that in.
Yeah, you keep that in. That's a lot of order. Like that's very in my wheelhouse.
That's order for you.
Yeah.
That's realm of competence.
Yeah.
You don't get nervous before presentations.
So. For example, we just did our industry presentation.
You weren't nervous at all.
Not only was I not nervous, like I didn't even really practice, and we didn't even put a ton of effort in. Like I probably put
me. You would.
And I was also
grouped up
with Ty and JC, but I was pretty much carrying Ty and JC.
Okay.
Like Ty was JC, absolute backpack, like hugging him around, and he'll be the first to tell you that.
Yeah, he definitely would.
But Ty was doing his thing. But I mean, you know, when you do shit with me, especially like something like that, like it has to be my way. Like, I'm changing all the fonts and shit. So not only was I responsible pretty much for the entire thing, and I was the only like Ty did his part, JC did his part, and I did my part and connected everything. So I was the one like bridging everything, and also didn't put that much effort into it. Also kind of waited for the last, like, JC was like, "Yo, can we talk about the presentation?" I'm like, "We'll just do it in class tomorrow." He's like, "Bro, we're presenting tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, shit." And then spent a little bit of time on it, and then whatever. And didn't practice at all. But, like, that is so, and maybe that's just because the chaos wasn't big enough, because it's just, like, Nancy's
bigger crowd
class. So
bigger crowd or different crowd?
Probably different crowd. So I had a presentation this summer where all of the interns across North America, across every hub office for my internship, were paired up in like groups of 4 or 5, and you had to like create a recommendation to help the company step into a new realm or sector, whether it's, and the guidelines were like AI, cybersecurity, or environmental niche, whatever, like kind of how you would explain that, and all those, like how it relates to insurance and to brokering and to clients and all these things. And you had pretty much like 6 weeks to work on it and meet with your group, and you were assigned a subject matter. It was like it's called a capstone project. It was kind of like a cumulative internship project, and you were assigned a subject matter expert from the company who's like in a pretty high position to like answer your questions about. So if you're doing AI or you're doing cybersecurity, it'd be like someone who like that's their job. And my group created this like very cool proposal. It was cybersecurity. I'm not going to try and explain it on the podcast because no one's going to understand. But it was basically like a cybersecurity, but it's like standalone. A lot of times cybersecurity is like attached to your home or whatever. So it's kind of standalone, customizable. It can like grow with your family and as your exposures develop and as time and as your family structure changes. Your grandmother lives with you, and you can give her like, so she doesn't get voice fished about her grandson being held hostage in Afghanistan and needing $1 million type thing. Okay. Whatever. I'm not going to do more like in-depth explaining than that, but it was a really good thing, and my group spent a ton of time on it. Like we probably spent the most out of any other group, to the point where like all my friends, because I had like a bunch of buddies who were in my office who were also interns, were asking me like, how's you guys going? I'm like, yo, like we already like we're already doing practice presentations or whatever. Or a couple groups like, yo, we met with our coordinator and they said we had to change our thing, and like we were saying like we were really ahead. And we were meeting like 2 or 3 times a week. And there was someone on my team from Calgary, shout out Colden. There was someone on my team from Florida, from Kansas City, like all over like North America. We're coordinating meeting for different time zones. And also it has to be like a 10-minute presentation. And the chaos is you're presenting to a panel of company executives, of North American-wide company executives. So like CEO of Atlantic and Ontario region, or CEO of West, or CFO of like, and it's like a really big thing.
I would die.
And there's also so there's a bunch of groups who are all presenting, and then this senior panels, and every single kid is mentor and manager. So it was probably like 50 or 60 people on the call. But like there's a lot of weight, and like not necessarily like your return offer was dependent on that, but it was like it's a good way to like market yourself, of how you speak and how you can coherently explain something relevant to the industry and how creative you are and all these things. So there was some weight behind it. And there's actually winners too, though. The winners of, so there was a winner of each, like a winner of cyber, winner of AI, winner of environment, and there was overall winner. And the overall winner, each person got a $100 gift card, and then the winners of each one got like $25 gift card. And my group presented, and we worked a ton. We practiced so many times, and we fucking killed it. Like I was so like happy and proud, and like we were by far the best in our section. Unfortunately, not only did we not win the overall, we didn't even win our own like the cybersecurity one. And we were definitely the best in our presentation group though, because there were so many groups, because it's like there was like 90 interns. So it was like in our presentation group we were definitely the best, but I guess there were some really good ones in other groups. But we definitely were really, really, really good. And actually I was nervous before that. All that whole story background, just say that I was a little nervous before that presentation. I actually though, doing that project, even though like I didn't get any like physical I guess positive, or not physical, but any positive reinforcement. We didn't win anything, but I was able to use that experience because I learned through working so hard on this project about cybersecurity and the risk involved and all these different things, that I was able to actually talk about that experience in my cover letter and in my interview, and that helped me get a job kind of relatively in that atmosphere for when I graduate at Deloitte, which is kind of weird thing to think about. Like it was like super delayed gratification, but definitely like lost the battle, definitely won the war type thing. But so I was nervous for that, but I also like know what you're talking about. I was like, sometimes when I'm presenting, I can like feel myself in the flow state. And yeah, there is definitely a chaos factor of like you could just start stuttering and embarrass yourself in front of your peers.
But also the thing is like it's so amplified. There's something I've noticed, and this is becoming like a more apparent thing. I would love to kill the part of me that just feel social embarrassment at all. Like I want that little fucker to just go away. Like I want to do something that's so preposterous, like in front of bro, because that's, by the way, going to land on my face. There's just no way.
Bro, what you're saying, you're being a hypocrite right now. You're being a hypocrite. You're saying you want to do something that's so preposterous that like just kills your social anxiety and fear. That if there's anything in the near future, an opportunity, it would be that.
I feel like it would have to be something where I have some chance of winning.
I think you do.
There's no way.
The winner gets like a $200 gift card.
First ever comp English. See, I can't even talk now.
But do you think that other people are also like super talented? Like you think we're about to hear?
For it to be successful to me, I wouldn't care about me winning. I would care about if I got laughs.
I would laugh.
At me, not with me. At me. Bro, there would be
To be fair though, like I had a talent show in high school and like there was someone who did stand-up comedy and it was horrible, and that is like some of the most secondhand embarrassment you can possibly feel.
Bro, if you
there's a ton of chaos in there.
If you say a joke and it just goes,
yes.
Feel that right there.
No, the awkwardness is brutal.
Bro, I honestly just don't think I'm mentally stable enough to do that. I would not be able to come
But you're saying that you're looking for something that's so preposterous.
I'm saying the idea has crossed my mind that like, and also I don't know if that would work because you want to hope. I want to hope so badly that after that stand-up comedy thing, it would just be gone. That little fucking nagging thing in the back of your throat. It would not be. Because you'd think after 30 days of door-to-door sales, it would be like non-existent. It's debatably just as strong as ever.
But you didn't quit.
But
and it got better for you. So,
but yeah, it got better. But
to be fair though, you also didn't give a fuck because you're never seeing these people ever again.
True.
Like you could just go and say, "My name Grace,"
I did.
and then they just slam the door. They just slam the door in front of you, and you just walk to the next door, and it's a complete fresh start.
Well, you say fresh start. It does leave an impression on you, but realistically, yes, the fact that person, even if they bought the guy that bought off of me, multiple guys, the Asian lady that bought off of me that I just steamrolled the one day. They don't know who I am anymore. If it goes well or if it goes bad, they don't know who I am.
But this comedy thing has some weight to it.
Linger.
Which is why it gives it more.
What? So I could just feel social shame for the rest of my time at Elms every time I walk around. Like that's the kid that's not funny. He's a loser. Everyone point and laugh.
Yo, nice jokes, Chris.
Done. See ya. I would honestly, 2 weeks left. When is that talent show?
It's like February, I think.
February? Let's say hypothetically, I have 16 credits left? Dropping out. Is it between having to do with that or not getting my degree? Dropping out.
So what is something that would be like so preposterous that would kill your social?
I don't know because I don't think it actually. I think it's a non-starter. I actually don't think there is a single event in your life that you could go through that would kill that forever. It has to be repeated exposure, which is actually a worse answer because it means that I'm going to have to do something for such a long period of time and relentlessly expose myself to that thing to kill that fear, opposed to it being a one-time thing.
We should just get started now.
On what?
Stand-up comedy, bro. Or something. Have you ever I'm trying to think of like other presentations that I gave and how I honestly feel like presenting does I do get into a flow state. Like I did a presentation at TED Talk in front of my entire school my senior year because you're allowed to like as a senior last 2 weeks of school like you just got to go and like do something, experience something.
Been over this story,
I talked about this and I gave a TED Talk on my experience going to Israel on birthright, and they picked like the 5 like most interesting stories and had to I had the mic. I was on the stage with like the clicker and my presentation was on like
See, that sounds cool. I would do that.
You would do that?
But it would genuinely scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, like I was nervous and I was practicing and stuff, but like I did, and it was like no script too. It was no script.
Honestly, at this point, if I'm ever giving a presentation, I would rather not have a script. Because I feel like if you use the script as a crutch, you're going to
just read off of it.
Yeah, and then you just look. I think that may not be worse because, dude, the amount of presentations you see of someone just going, and then blah, 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 blah. Honestly, that alternative, opposed to me getting up there and fucking up, is worse. Because
I agree.
You sitting in that order, leaning on that, is going to inevitably come back to bite you somehow. Maybe it might not be now. It might be when you give a presentation in front of a company. It might be something. But like I have enough self-awareness to know that if I do that, I'm going to end up regretting it, and it's going to bite me in the ass.
I just feel like I'm in the minority of like people that like
don't really get nervous.
There is no, I can't say I don't get nervous because there are definitely like I would definitely get nervous, but there are like presenting specifically about something like I was presenting about finances and I was talking about Deloitte. I was talking about why I would want to work there. I was talking about stuff that like I have a ton of competence in, and that I guess if I didn't know, if I was like unconfident in what I was in the material I was talking
That's
about,
always what makes it infinitely, impossibly, terribly awful.
then I would be able to. I would definitely like be more nervous and like be practicing a lot more to myself, but yeah, I think. Like, for example, if you were, like, talking about, like, lifting and, like, nutrition or psychology.
That speech where I stood up in front of the class and did that, it was you're supposed to make up a product that you would be able to sell to a company. And it was about mouth tape. I did reusable mouth tape where you could put it on, put it out, whatever. And the whole thing was, like, I tied it back to my Whoop and how, like, I actually have been mouth taping. And, like, this is the results that I've seen from literal, real studies that I've done with myself. And, like, then I went out. I have so much knowledge and experience in that area where I barely needed a script. I just repped it a few times and it was good.
Yeah, so I think it's just about because like the things I'm doing, like I mean, I'm fortunate to be like I'm a finance major, so and I'm passionate about finance and numbers and trends and money, and
well,
and so I guess there's more opportunities for me to demonstrate that in school. I guess that could mean also that I have like more reps, and that's why I'm comfortable doing it.
You also could just be more extroverted.
I don't even think I'm extroverted.
I definitely think you're extroverted. I think I could give you the test. I think I bought the
Bro,
two
I'm
one.
not though because I recharge being alone. Like I need to be alone. The idiots they get to me sometimes. I just need to like be alone.
There's other metrics though for being extroverted. I can't think of what they are right now, which is bad. We've been talking for an hour and 5, and my brain is really on life support right now. But
we can wrap it up.
We lost the plot. I don't even know how we got here.
Oh yeah, we just wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean,
we just cut out the last minute and a half and just say yeah. Thank you guys for listening to us ramble. Next episode we'll definitely have another guest on. We'll have Springfield legend TJ Butter on the pod.
Trav,
and that'll be a good episode. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for listening.
Shout out Nigel. Shout out Justin. Shout out Chubbs. Shout out Brad.
Shout out Danny. Follow us on TikTok, Ship Across the Border. We got that back up and running.
And if this thing gets 100 likes, Chris will do the talent show.
We can make that happen. Are you dead ass?
What's the preposterous amount of likes that there's no way this gets? What's
200?
200 likes.
Realistically, like that would mean that like 1,000 people have to see it.
Dude,
and
way more. Way like 10,000. The ratio, dude, we got on our recent short form on YouTube Shorts, got 1,000 views and it had 20 likes. 200 is like 10,000 views.
All right.
200 likes.
If we get 200 likes, Chris will go up in front of the entire school and do his first ever stand-up comedy skit at Nancy Davis's.
Oh my God, I really hope this doesn't get 200 likes.
Elms Talent Show. He might be the man.
I might cry.
He might not exist afterwards. That will be, I guess, in y'all fate. And I guess in his fate if he ends up having to do it. I believe he'll be good at it, but I want to see that. So please share with your mom, grandma, sister. And yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Well, she danced in my